You're now listening to the 1130 podcast. Enjoy the show.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre and Willsy is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. No, with me, yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast, Dre.
Yo, what it do, everybody, man? We're back at it here on another episode of the 1130 podcast. What's good, everybody, man? You already know it's your man Dre, aka Dre on wheels, man. Dang, I don't know my own name, but I appreciate everyone definitely tuning in here on YouTube, man. If you're new to the show, you're new to the podcast, I don't know what you're waiting for, man. Definitely hit the like button down below, comment, share. Don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms, and definitely subscribe, man, for real. Back at it with another episode of the 1130 podcast show. Man, it's gonna be a great one, man, for real. I got an awesome guest, you guys, that's joining me here on this week's episode of the podcast show. World record holder, you guys, a power lifter, a sports pioneer, you guys, living legend, 14-time national champion, 7-time world champion, just to name a few. Krista Ford is going to be joining me here on the 1130 podcast show this week, man. We ain't gonna waste no more time. We're gonna bring on my wonderful guest. Krista, how's it going?
How are you? Thank you for having me. Doing well.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking your time out today, coming and chat with old Dre on wheels here at the 1130 podcast. I like treating you.
Oh, you already know. I'm breathing. We breathing. You breathing. We doing all right, Dre. We are in life.
Hey, that's what's up. You're right. We doing all right in life.
All right. We above ground, so you already know. We can't ask for nothing better.
Can't complain. You got it. Definitely can't complain. Where you from?
I am from originally Indianapolis, Indiana, but I live in Atlanta, where everybody is. So I reside in Atlanta here, but yeah, I'm from the Midwest, from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, born and raised?
Yes, not born, but raised there. I was born in actually Boston, so a little bit of opposite there, but Boston, you know that area. And you're in D.C., yes? You're in D.C.?
Washington, D.C., yes.
Yeah, so you're familiar. You know what I'm talking about. So.
Yeah. So growing up, you said you were you were born in Boston, right? You live in Atlanta right now, so it's just a whole bunch of moving all over the place. Obviously, being a sports pioneer and doing a whole lot of stuff. We're gonna actually just go ahead and jump into it, though. Tell everyone about this, journey of yours. Being in sports and being a power lifter. How did this journey really begin for you? Like, was it always sort of like, I want to, try to be in the Olympics, or I was just, this was just something that it just happened or whatever, and then also you got people who sometimes, not everyone, but sometimes, they were maybe small or, little, and they was get picked on maybe and just decided to lift weights or whatever, just so the bullies will leave them alone or whatever like that. But, how does journey for Krista begin for you?
I would say that wasn't my case, but okay. I didn't have any problems with that. But from a very young age, I was always an athlete. I always loved being outside, playing with my friends, hopping, skipping, jumping. And then when I got into high school, as well as some of grammar school, I started understanding what it means to be in organized sports. So, and I really like that. I like the camaraderie of everybody coming together. I always liked playing dodgeball, kickball, the things we used to do back in the day. That was a lot of fun. Out of all of that, my gift came of getting into organized sports, and I was good. And so before I knew it, I started doing a lot of, I was a track and field athlete in high school. I played golf in high school, which is very rare for Black women to be doing. Well, the track and field was popular, but not the golf. And so my gift has always been from day little of being an athlete. And that's where I'm at today. So now I'm a professional athlete, which makes sense because I was always raised around this atmosphere of just absolutely cultivating this great tribe, a team around me, as well as me being a part of that team. And I just love the whole unity of being in team sports, if that makes sense. And so that's kind of where it all started from. It didn't come from, I had bullies, don't get me wrong. I had them, but I also, back in the day, I had bodyguards to take care of me, if you know what I mean. I'd always pick the tallest woman that was in my class, or girlfriend, a friend of mine, and she would always take care of them bullies for me. So I didn't even have to worry about them. And also, it's kind of funny because I was fast enough to get away from them. You know how they say, I'm gonna get you after 3 o'clock after the bell rings. Well, I was out the door, I was gone. They couldn't catch me. But that was my story when it comes to that. So I didn't have too much to worry about with that. But just being in physical fitness and anything that has to do with it, I don't care, DeAndre, what it was. I loved it from day one. And so that doesn't surprise me. I'm where I'm at today. Yeah.
Okay. What was it about, I guess, fitness and, organized sports that really, sort of lit the light bulb, off at, in your head? It was like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. Was you sort of like, obviously, powerlifting and everything like that? What was it? What sport really, what was that moment that like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do? Do you remember as a child or
I just
no?
loved the energy. I
Okay.
loved playing. I loved having fun. That's really all it is. When it comes down to it, most athletes that I know of, even on my level in different sports, doesn't matter what sport you're in, but we actually just love doing what we do. We like being physical. We like doing physical things. You like getting into things that was goal oriented. Like when you're in sports, you always have something to look forward to. You have something you're trying to go for. You're always trying to better yourself. You're always trying to make sure that you're there for your teammates and you do well for them too as well. So I think it's just like this whole mentality of being intentional and just moving forward all the time, and goal after goal after goal. And then you got something else to look forward to, and goal after goal. So I think that's it's been my experience with how it kind of all came to be. I just loved having something to look forward to doing that was bettering me and that was helping me to grow and learn how to get along with people. Honestly, you can get that really fast in sports. You really can, because you got to learn how to get along with folks in order to be together as a whole unit, in order to play the game, in order to win or fail. It doesn't really matter, but you got to learn how to play that game. And then if you think about it, DeAndre, what about life? Is that not all what life is getting along with people? We all need to get along. And, we all do this as a group pretty much. We really do in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I dig that. I definitely dig that. Okay. Can you talk about one thing that I think is really fascinating? You're the first Black woman bobsledder for the U.S. Women's team, though. How
Yes.
was that, and breaking, gender, not only gender, but racial, stereotypes and rules, at that time in the world?
Ooh, Andre, it was interesting. That's all I can say. You know what? I tell everybody this, as many speaking engagements I've done, and just talking to kids and talking to adults and whatnot, it doesn't matter. When you are the first at anything, a pioneer, especially Blacks, female, male, it doesn't matter. There is a lot that goes along with that big, huge title that you have got yourself into, right? What I will say this is that winter sports are really prominent about not having Blacks in them, because you're talking about good old boy networks, a lot of money to be in these winter sports. And also there's a lot of prejudice. And so for the first time in my life, powerlifting is my love and my passion. I still do it, but I was a dual athlete. So I was on the bobsled team and I was on the powerlifting team. But the difference between these two sports is huge. A lot of diversity, no prejudice, all that stuff in powerlifting. Men, women, it doesn't matter. Countries, it doesn't matter. But bobsled was the first experience I had. By the color of my skin, that was a problem. even though I was the first. So with the first, it's a great thing later on when you realize that you was put there for a purpose, a reason, and you are supposed to play that forward to other people to tell them, how did you do it? How were you the first in history to ever do this? What did you have to go through? How did you get out of it? What did you come out of it? You know, how did it all come to be? I have to say, being on the bobsled and being the first Black female to ever do this sport, it was an experience of a lifetime that now I can play it forward to other Blacks and Black females to be able to tell them, go for it. When you get something that you are the first in, do it. Go for it, because there's a reason for you to do it in the first place. So that was my experience with bobsled. It was interesting because, you know, and Black folks don't like no cold weather. We don't.
No, they don't.
We don't. So every time I'm going down the ice, I'm thinking to myself, I must be out of my daggum mind here. It's cold out here. Germany, Italy, Norway. I mean, it's cold.
Yeah.
Andre, kind of slap your mama kind of cold. It don't make no sense kind of cold. Oh, my God. But like I said,
wow.
in experience of doing that and just being an athlete and being the first and being a pioneer and being in sports history, it is something else. And it is, for me, it's where I can be now in my story to be able to help somebody else to understand. I was the first. I went through a lot, but I came out on top. And now I got the bragging rights to say I was the first. And I can tell another person that might be thinking about getting in some sort of sport or some kind of, it doesn't matter what it is. It don't have to be sports. And if they want to be the first, go for it. Because in the end, you're going to win. In the end of this whole situation, you're going to win. And you're going to be okay. And you're going to be on top. And you're going to learn a lot. And that was my whole thing. I learned a ton, DeAndre, about prejudice, and I had never experienced that in my life, especially not in sports. But I experienced it in bobsled. I did, but I learned a lot. I learned a ton. Yeah.
Can you speak on that? Because you talked about, and I know there's a whole lot of pressure coming out of a situation like that, being the first, you know, Black woman in, you know, predominantly, you know, all white, you know, sport, especially, you know, at the time, you know, how did you handle that? And what type of, you know, pressure was it, you know, being obviously the first Black, you know, woman to, you know, do so, but also, you know, you just being, you know, how was that experience, you know, positive and negative?
I'm going to tell you the honest God truth, and I'll tell the whole world this. I prayed a lot. It was all about me and God. I'm sorry that, you know, if people don't believe, that's on you. But I believe that my prayers and my talking to God a lot, and also what helped me to grapple through this. Guess you're going to trip out when I tell you this. It wasn't the Europeans that were prejudiced against the color of my skin. Guess where it was coming from? My own U.S. team people here in United States. It was crazy. So in that, I had invoked this leveling up, this vibrating up on a very high level spiritually that helped me get through that. And it was still...
I'm sorry to cut you off, but how was you able to maintain that spiritual, you know, connection and vibrate at a high frequency when you got so much, like you just said, your own USA teammates, you know, being prejudiced to you, you know, just because of the color of your skin and, you know, being, you know, the first Black woman to do so?
I'm gonna tell you what it was. Every time I would pray it up, every time I would talk to God about it, which was a lot, He would show me something to help me keep moving. Meaning, let's just say this. Say they got a problem with the color of my skin. But the problem is they couldn't do nothing when I was pushing that sled and smashing those records. That was God telling me, it don't matter what these people think about you. I'm getting ready to help you perform where they can't touch that. And they couldn't. So when I came down and we done at the end of the ice and my driver got me down and we posting this daggum world record, You can't do anything with that. And they hated it because they couldn't stand the color of my skin. So let's just say that was my omens that came from God in this universe. Every time I prayed it up to help me get through it, he would give me a gift or either something that they couldn't touch. They could not touch that. They could not touch I was the number one brakeman in the world. They couldn't touch it. So that's what helped me get through all the difficult things, even about my own teammates. Because at the end of the day, I shut all their mouths, because even my teammates, even the ones driving me, I shut them all up. When we go across the finish line on the end of these tracks, and it would say up there, USA Team 1, number 1. You can't touch this. So for me, that helped me a lot. But it was all my spiritual faith. I was very faith-driven through this Prejudice experience I had with this sport. I really was. And that helped me along the way. But like I said, God would just give it to me. He would just prove it to me. I'm doing the right thing. I'm not doing nothing wrong. That's these problems of these people. I'm not taking that personal, but what I will say, I'm getting ready to perform, and you can't touch it. You can't do nothing with it. That's kind of like being a Serena and a Venus, and regardless of the color of their skin, you can't touch what they're doing. So at some point, what do, Andre? They got to accept it. They got to accept it. They don't have no choice. But
they had no other choice but to accept it, breaking all the breaking all the records and stuff like that. So, and then, what's for you is what's for you. Like you said, when you was doing your thing, and that was basically God was giving you a sign to letting you know that you were here for a reason. So, nobody can take what was for you. And what was for you, you won a silver medal. How was that feeling like?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was something. And then we won. We were the first U.S. team to ever win a first place. Like, it really was a gold standing in a race. I was the team that did that too. Well, of course, it felt amazing. And for me, I was just like, how when we were little kids, you go na 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 na. That's what I was doing. I was like, y'all just don't even know. So it felt amazing. But what I will say to everybody, your whole audience right now, powerlifting has been my passion and my love. And I've been doing that for 40 years and still continue to do it. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready for a world championship right now, training for it. Bobsled was a sport that recruited me because of my strength. But see the difference between the two, they both have huge bragging rights when it comes to, I was put there for the bobsled to prove what the whole thing about being a pioneer was, even though I was good at it, right? But my passion and my love is my powerlifting. So it's a nice balance that I've experienced, but I know my heart has always been in powerlifting. And when I've tried to do both sports, which I did do both, I'm on both U.S. teams for both sports. I'd have to be over in South Africa for one thing. I had to fly over here to Germany to do the other. But that was the whole plan in the first place. Does that make sense? It really was the whole plan. So it felt amazing with all of my accomplishments in both sports. Just an amazing experience, because I have worked hard and long, and everything come to me was definitely, but it's not as much as all my accolades, is that I am constantly pushing it out to everybody else at this point. Still at this point in my career, I'm just giving it back to everybody else. As much as I can help some other athlete, some other Black female, it doesn't even matter. Somebody, either athlete, get into some obscure sports, which is those two I'm in, go for it, So that's my whole thing. That's really more important to me than anything. Just playing it forward and giving a message that it's great being an athlete, it's great being a pro athlete, but I'm not in no $1 million sport contract sports. I'm not in that. Okay. I'm not the mainstream good stuff that gives you those nice little signing bonuses. No. But look at all the, for me, it's just been very innately put together for me. like divinely orchestrated, put together for me. So now I got a book coming out. I mean, this is all of this. This is everything I've done for years and still do it. Yeah.
Okay, I dig it. I really love it. It's really
Yeah.
inspiring, though.
Yeah.
How much have you power lift at one time, though?
Oh boy. I've got a ton of records, but my biggest one is I've got a squat record in the 181 open women. What they call it open women, that's any class, any age class. It doesn't matter your age. I got a world record in that's been standing since 2011, and that was 628.2 pounds on squatting alone. It
Wow.
took me a while to get that record. So I've got records in bench press. I've got records in deadlifts too. But my squat, that's my little baby right there. That's something I worked on for years before I got it. Because the girl who said it before me, it took me 6 years to break her record. And at that time, she was 624 pounds of squat. So it took a minute. But I have a lot of records in powerlifting. But that's my baby right there that I really, yeah, that's my thing.
Okay. I can hear the passion for your voice, and I can tell that you were really excited on crashing all those records and everything. Have you ever thought about being in the Olympics? How does that process work?
Okay, so powerlifting is not an Olympic sport; it's a professional sport, so you can make $1 off of. Okay, that's one. Bobsled just put the women in the Olympics. Believe it or not, it was always been for men. Because they banned women from 1940 up to 1984. Women could not bobsled, not at all. They banned it for women. They didn't want women out on the track. They were like, no, 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 no. So they finally inducted women into the bobsled in 1999, at the end of 1999. I was in the trials for 2002 Olympics. My driver got hurt. That cut us all both out. We both retired, and I was good with that. I didn't care. It didn't even matter. I wasn't in the sport in the first place because it was an Olympic sport, because it wasn't an Olympic sport at first when I got into it, right? But the powerlifting, along with bodybuilding, strongman, those are all professional sports. So they don't put those in the Olympics. The only other weightlifting sport that's in there is Olympic lifting, which you see the guys and the girls jerking the weight over their head, the clean and jerk and snatch. Mm-hmm. That's an Olympic sport for weightlifting. And that's about it, which is fine, because it's like you can really, they just never inducted it in, which is kind of crazy, but they just never, and it took them forever for the women to be in a bobsled. So I don't know. But yeah.
Oh, wow. Unfortunate though, but you still crushing everything you do though. What keeps you? I said the story is very inspiring and everything. What keeps you motivated and inspired to this day?
Honestly, Dre, I absolutely love what I do. I do. I love teaching it. I love training. I love competing. I love traveling. I love being around my own. It is a gift. I'm not joking. When I say it's a gift from God, it really is. Because how do you do gifts? Think about it. God can give anybody a gift of singing, a gift of entertainment, a gift of whatever. But if you squander those gifts kind of go away, right? Well, I've always had this gift of physical fitness my whole life. And look at where I'm at now. I absolutely love it. It's my passion. So it's different. When you're living your passion, you don't even think about it, Dre. You just do it because you love it, and that's what it is, And then for me, I absolutely, like I said, and I'll repeat this, I love playing it forward. All of my knowledge, everything that I am, I'm kind of like the Serena and Venus of powerlifting. I really am, okay? But I like being able to push it forward and help other people come in, understand it. And even if they don't even want to be in a sport, I teach them how to lift properly with good technique so they do not get injured. That's the whole thing about physical fitness, especially being in the gym, training with iron and weight and cardio and whatnot. So I love it. It's my gift. It really is. And I absolutely, even to this day, the older I get, the more stoked up I get about it, I think, because now I lift into a different age category, but I'm still in my same weight category. But now I'm up there looking at people that were 70s and 80s, still lifting, still competing in our sport. That's what I inspire to do. So that's where I'm going, you know.
Gotcha. That's cool. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
To hear what what inspires you, and the fact that not letting anything, not even a race, gender, or just anything stop you. Keep crushing it. I dig that. I definitely dig that. You mentioned though, you're writing a book and telling, trying to pay everything for it though. Your new book right now that you have out, Krista's Promise, right?
Yep.
Oh, I'm saying it right.
Yep.
Yes. Can you
Yep.
tell everyone about it, and where they can actually get a copy of it as well?
Okay. So it hasn't dropped yet, but I'll tell you what
Okay.
it is all about. So Krista's Promise is my name and my promise that I actually made to God. And now I look at,
Okay.
here's the book. So that, I mean, it's proofs in the pudding here. It is a self-help spiritual memoir. It is a story of my life and where I'm at to this day, even what we're talking about. But I'm really just the vessel to tell the whole world we're all connected. All of us humans walking on this earth, we're all connected together, and we're all connected to God in the universe. We really are. So that's the whole book. It's one of those inspirational books that will motivate you, and I believe it'll resonate with everybody who reads it, because in this book has a little bit of something I know will resonate with just about anybody. If you're living life and you're going through whatever you're going through, this book will resonate with you, because I've been through it too. Does that make sense? So we're doing all pre-orders right now, because the book should be dropping in October, and it'll be on Amazon and all that kind of stuff right now. But right now it's not dropped just yet. We're working on some little things. And then once we get those all signed off, we're ready to go. So you can go on my website. That's the fastest way to pre-order it. So it's under www.powerbykrista.com. When you go on there, it'll tell you exactly how to pre-order the book and what do you want. You want a paperback, you want a hardback. Once it comes out, I'm going to have it. We'll have it on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and all this stuff. But I'm also going to get it on Audible. That's going to be after it drops, because I personally do not like reading nothing. I love listening to things. So I figured I better make sure that anybody who wants to get my book that is like me, that don't like to really read it, like a hard copy or a soft copy, that they'll have it on Audible. So it's going to be, all I can say is this. I'm just out here to tell the message, what I've been knowing all along. And my story, this memoir, will tell the message of kind of what we're talking about. How do you do this? How do you get through it? How do you work out life? How do you live the magic of life? How do you get through all of this stuff and come out on top? So that's really all it's about. It's a great thing, though. I'm really excited for it, because I've already seen what it's gonna do. I've got a ton of pre-orders on this book already. It ain't even dropped yet. So
I love it though. I love it. I'm actually, going through a couple of your accomplishments that you did as well, far as your world records and doing powerlifting, being a 14. When someone says that to you, being a 14-time national champion, a world champion, what do you think of it? Do you like hearing people say that about you? Do you feel humble about it? How do you feel?
I am very humbled. I've been humbled from day one. And believe it or not, sometimes I have to do this, DeAndre. You see me doing this, I be pinching myself. I do, because I am very grateful. I'm very grateful for all of those accolades that I have behind me. The 14 times national champion, it took me years to get to be a first-time national champion, let alone 14 times. So I'm very humbled in it. And it actually just brings me back to just keep going. I love what I do, and I just keep going. And sometimes anymore now, I don't even think about it. When people say it, I was like, well, thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate me. But I kind of just go on in my brain, because I'm just like, I'm not egotistical whatsoever. I'm just very humbled about the whole situation. Even to now, even the book, it's very humbling for somebody who I've already seen the vision, and now it's coming true. So it's humbling me. It really is. It's pulling me back, and I'm going, wow, now it's time to actually do the work. Now it's time for me to get out here and give the message out to everybody. So, but yeah, it's very humbling to me to hear it. It really, when you just said it, sometimes I just feel like my ears are like, oh, okay, I did do that. I did, you know. So
Yeah.
it's very humbling to me, and it helps me to always stay grateful that I'm
Mhm.
still alive, I'm still in great health, I'm still able to participate in my sport some 40 plus years later, and I still do it. So I'm just grateful, honestly.
Okay.
I
Okay,
am.
I dig it. Dig it. You gotta stay grateful, man. Like,
Yes.
in a sport like that, or just, anything you in, I think you
Anything.
gotta, stay grateful, and just, also be humble about it, because, tomorrow's not promised, and all this can go away just like that. So, but you work hard, you work real hard at it to
Mhm.
become a pioneer in the sport and everything you do. So I commend everything you're doing. So I appreciate you, Krista, for definitely sharing that amazing story in your journey in sports and everything. That's been really, really wonderful. You guys, man, we're going to keep the show rolling on before we roll on out of here with Krista. It's time for the 11:30 podcast hot seat, you guys. All right. Krista, I got 5 questions for you, and we're going to roll with it. It's time for the hot seat. You ready?
I hope I got an answer, but go ahead.
Okay. Don't be
Okay.
nervous.
Okay.
Everybody's always getting nervous around this time of the show. So nah, it's cool
Okay.
though. Okay, all right. First question: if you're gonna go back in time, anytime, any moment in your life, what would it be?
If I needed to go back in time,
Yeah. If you needed to go back, if you didn't want to, that's all cool. But if if that was the thing, you can go back to any moment in time. Maybe it was at high school, or your first car that you drove, or being that first black woman in this sport. So what moment in time would you go back into if you could?
I probably would go all the way back to I'm adopted. I would go all the way back to them. I would.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well,
probably pick a different family.
okay.
But
Okay.
yes,
All
I
right.
would go all the way back there, and I would have picked a different family for me. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're gonna leave it as that. No, that's
Okay.
all cool. I
Okay.
appreciate that. That's a cool answer. All
Uh-huh.
right, number two. If you had a warning label, I like to ask my guests this question. If you had a warning label on you, what would it say?
Don't underestimate me.
Hmm, I like that. Don't underestimate you. Okay,
Mm.
got you. All right. Question number three. Uh, hmm. Do you have any regrets?
None. I don't.
Okay.
Nope.
Not okay. Yeah, that's how y'all do it. You gotta live life, especially not living with regrets, and just going out there, and just living life. Okay.
And because
Question.
it's all a lesson, right? It's all a
You're
lesson,
right.
and we all have to go through them. And I don't know. I don't regret anything.
Okay. Cool. I dig it. Okay. Are you a glass half full or glass half empty type of person?
I'm more of a half full.
Okay. I got you.
I'm a half
I like
fuller.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I look at it
I
more
got a little
so.
something in that glass initially.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? I'd be
Yeah,
sitting with somebody and they'd be like, hold on, wait a minute, I need some more. But look, you ain't even finished that. You got a whole lot more drink in that cup, man, for real.
that's
You're looking at it half empty, man. It's half full, for real. You
that's right.
tripping.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
all about
That's right.
the way you look at life. I think
That's
when
right.
you look at life, or when you have that perspective more so, just a glass half full type of person, I think you look at life a little bit different, though. Not to,
Yeah,
shame anybody else,
yeah,
though, but I dig
exactly.
it. I dig it. Okay, last question. Last question here. Let's see what we got. Favorite food. What are your favorite food to eat, when you travel to different places?
Anything sweet. Desserts. Love. I have a sweet fetish that was out for this world. And thank the Lord I trained, because if I don't, I'd be about 600 pounds. I swear I would be. I love, because most places where I've traveled, you can find some good sweet stuff, cookies, pies, whatever it may be. So I love anything sweet, to tell you the truth. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Real good. I dig it. I dig it. Look at Krista. I appreciate you for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast show this week. It's been awesome chatting with you and getting to know you and really sharing your journey with my listeners and viewers. Though your book is coming out too real soon. You guys make sure you hit the link down in the bio. Excuse me, in the description down below, you guys, and definitely go pre-order the book out. Can you put your website out there one more time? Is it Power by Krista?
It's www.powerbykrista,
Okay.
Krista.com.
Oh,
It's real easy
all
to
right.
find. Yeah, you'll get right on there. Yeah.
All right, there you go, you guys, man. The link will be down below in the description, so make sure you click on the link and follow Krista, definitely on our social media platforms, and definitely pre-order the book. Once again, thank you for coming through here on the show. Keep smashing records, though, and I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, everyone who's listening and tuning in. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna wrap up the show. We got the WTF moment and more. Don't move, you guys, man. You're listening and you're watching to the 11:30 podcast.
Perfect.
D.C. is unique. We match other world-class cities pound for pound in dining, nightlife, arts, culture, theater, sports, outdoor activities, green spaces, and the list goes on and on. But nowhere else can compete with our monuments, our museums, and memorials, and no other city has as many free things to do. Add it all up, and DC's diversity of experiences is truly unmatched. There's only one DC.
All right. Welcome back, you guys, man, to the 11:30 podcast show. Appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout the short break, man, here in DC. The 11:30 podcast show. Yo, Krista Ford. Thank you for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast show this week. It was really dope having you on. First Black woman on the United States women's bobsledding team. Power lifter, amazing author. All of it, man. Just national champion, world champion, all around the board. Thank you, Krista Ford, for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast show. You guys, man, all the links will be down below, so you can make sure you go follow Krista Ford, Power by Krista, and check out her latest book and all that, man. One thing she was talking about on the show earlier today was, prejudice. Prejudice that she was experiencing, when, she was, the first Black woman on the United States bobsledding team, and how the prejudice, didn't come from, other nationalities, other countries, or whatever like that. It came from right here in the United States. Not only right here in the United States, her own teammates. Her own teammates, man, and that just tells you, what type of, country, we live in, even till today, right now. Prayers definitely go out to everyone down in Florida. The hurricane Milton came up, category 4, category 5 hurricane, Milton. I wish everyone out there, safe prayers, and I know that's probably cliche to say, because I seen a video where, obviously people in Florida are going through a lot right now, and I was, reading up that how the I believe they ran out of money. They ran out of money or something like that to help everyone down there to, move. They ain't giving them nothing, like no money to say, what, go to the hotel, go to this or whatever, but no, just pack up your homes and just leave, man. And it's your own country and your own teammates, man. I feel like we'll do you dirty, but yo, man, I just want to say kudos to Krista Ford for definitely being a pioneer in the sports world, and definitely breaking barriers, as far as gender, roles, and racial roles and all that stuff. So definitely shout out to my girl Krista Ford for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast show. My little man, I'm talking about every time I'm trying to do a show, he always trying to come up in the room and everything like that. That's what I'm trying to tell him, close the door, man. So man, yeah, definitely been a dad, man. It's definitely we'll move on the podcast, but me being a dad now, it's going on what almost 2.5 years right now, right? He's in his terrible toddlers right now. We just touching everything. So just a dad update of how things definitely been going on. The other day we was at the playground and he always talking about playground, playground, playground. Let's go to the playground. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's go to the playground, man. If you want to go to the playground, let's go to the playground. So, take him outside and we get out there and it's a bunch of kids like downstairs in the apartment we live in. It's sort of like a aftercare. I don't want to say daycare maybe, but, kids, they go there and whatever. But man, they came out. It was a bunch of girls, a bunch of kids, and I was like, he was like, man, I want to go play with them, like playground, playground. I was like, man, you gotta hold on a little bit, man. They a little bigger than you. And also, he wanted to kick the ball, which he eventually, started getting down and going to go kick the ball when every time, they was kicking the ball, in our area. But man, and he had his a boo boo. He fell and hurt his side of the face a little bit. But he fine, man. He get up like a champion, wanted to play. I'm like, man, come on, man. Let's get it together though. And like, playground, playground. I'm like, all right, man, come on. All right, man. You feel me? And of course, mother, was like, what happened to his face? I'm like, he fell. Why you ain't tell me? You know what I mean? Like, he was fine, and everything. It's just, yeah, he was fine. I don't want it to be like, a certain scenario where it's like, yeah, I wanted to tell you everything, something really, bad happened to him. Of course I'd, say something, but I'm like, he fell and, his lip was bleeding a little bit and got back up and he just was like, I'm ready to go. And I was all right. And it wasn't until the next day he got up a little bit, it was a little swollen, and I was like, oh, so I know that, just little things like that in a way. Being a dad is first, like this first rodeo for me, so I'm still learning and I'm still processing everything, but at the same time it's feeling like second nature, man. You just know what to do, know what you want, man. And of course, took him to, the first his first wrestling event, which, of course he may not remember though, but he loved wrestling right now. Uh Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, all that stuff, man. So yeah, man, being a dad is definitely, I want to say, a big highlight of my journey, man, in my life. Uh, so my little man is definitely, when I see him, on my screensaver, or if you're waking up jumping on me, it's like, all right, man, you gotta put on daddy role, or just just automatically just being daddy, you know, just doing what you got to do, man. For real, it's just all about protecting him, providing for him, and just making sure he got the best going forward. For real, for real. So you already know, daddy love you, man. All right, you guys, man. Enough of daddy updates, though. But it's been a wonderful show, man. Before the break, of course, you guys, man, I told you, man, I got the WTF moment, of course, each and every week. So you know what time it is, man. It's time for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yeah. WTF moment of the week. Man, it's so much going on in the world, man. You know, uh, so much going on in the world. Last week, I was talking about the U.S. port strike. That was the WTF moment of the week. And this week, man, it's so much, man. And I wanted to share more than, that WTF moment last week. But this week, obviously, I mentioned a little bit earlier, prayers everyone to out there in Florida with the hurricane. Just dealt with Hurricane Helene and now Hurricane Milton, and Hurricane Category 5 hurricane, which is definitely devastating, though. So prayers out to them, man. And not only that, when I just mentioned how it's just so much going on in the world. Excuse me. I don't know if you guys heard about the the case that was went around several weeks ago. Marcellus, he was a black man, and he was sentenced to death. He was sentenced to lethal injection, and which, that has, that went through and everything like that, and it was a big um rally, to, stop him from getting executed and stuff like that. Try to, go to the U.S. government and the Supreme and everything like that. But this guy was, innocent, man. And it's a sad world that we live in still to this day, where you still got, the lethal injection. And, I wasn't there. I don't know whether the man did it or not, though. But, this country has a track record of, putting down black men, whether they did it or not, though, just long as we got somebody, for this crime. And, that was that. But if you guys haven't heard, I'm pretty sure a lot of people, it was really unfortunate, though. Check this out real fast.
Understand that, that justice has been denied. But you got to remember the history of this country in regards to the justice system. It's full of examples of using law as a tool of oppression. Even though man may be tyrannical at times and very oppressive in the systems that he erects.
Ellis Williams was executed by the state of Missouri for his conviction in a 1998 murder that he insisted he did not commit. It comes despite strong opposition, including from a top St. Louis prosecutor, as well as the family of the woman Willis was accused of killing, who said he should serve a life sentence instead of the death penalty. And as several questions still surround the case that brought his conviction. Williams' attorneys claim that the prosecution mishandled the murder weapon and had improperly struck prospective jurors because they were black. But yesterday, Missouri Supreme Court and governor ultimately refused to intervene. And tonight, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected 2 appeals to spare Williams' life over the objection of the liberal justices, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Elena Kagan, and Sonia Sotomayor. Williams is the 3rd inmate executed in Missouri and the 15th in this country this year. He was 55 years old. He will never be older, because Missouri is a state and we are a country that maintains a system of official killing without mercy, even amidst evidence of innocence.
WTF, man. WTF all the way, man. Like when I saw that, because actually fiance was like, yo, man, definitely check this out, man, and everything. And I saw it was definitely going around on social media. So I was definitely had to definitely check it out. Yeah, man, really unfortunate for the guy to, be, sentenced to death and put him, to lethal injection and everything like that. I think that, man, was really unfortunate. Not only that, man, here in the DMV area, several weeks ago, actually, it was a young lady who was actually, it was a teenage girl who was shot. She was shot, and everybody was trying to figure out, like, what the hell is going on? Yo, this teenage girl was shot. She was shot in her home, and the mom called 911 and everything, and they did the investigation, and the mom wound up shooting the teenage girl. I guess they got into some type of argument or whatnot, and the mother shot the girl. They, of course, like I just mentioned, the mother tried to, get the girl to say, yo, somebody broke into the house, and somebody broke in the house and shot you. And they was doing the investigation. The house across the street had a camera on it, of course. Every home got a camera on it. And they seen the little girl, coming home, I believe. And she went into the house. She never came out. No one ever went into the house or anything like that. So they did their investigation, and it came from that the mother shot the girl, man. WTF, man.
This police department is the home where officers found the 13-year-old girl with a gunshot wound in her neck. Now, when officers arrived, the girl told them that her mother asked her to tell officers that someone else shot her. Well, it was through further investigation and surveillance video that we're about to show you that police determined the girl was shot by her mother.
I actually saw them walk her down the block and handcuff her and put her in the back seat.
Tina Nyblack was outside early Monday evening when she noticed caution tape blocking off one of the homes on her street.
You know, we're not sure of the details of how it happened or what happened here, so.
Fox 5 spoke with her yesterday when Seat Pleasant police were trying to figure out who shot a 13-year-old girl. At the time of the interview, Nyblack didn't know the suspect was the victim's mother, but now she does.
Oh my, this is horrible.
According to court documents, when police entered the home here on 69th Place, they found a 13-year-old girl near the front door with a gunshot wound to her neck. The girl told police that she and her mother got into an argument that turned physical. She noticed her mom holding a gun. As she started to walk away down the steps is when she heard one gunshot and fell to the bottom of the stairs. The girl also told police that her mother, 32-year-old Talika Brown, instructed her to tell them that she was shot by someone who had broken into the house. So police started reviewing surveillance footage like the video on your screen, where you can see the teenage girl walking home from school with a book bag. She grabs the trash can from the curb and brings it to the side of the home before entering the house. According to court documents, between the time she entered the home and the shot was fired, no one else was seen entering or exiting the home. The girl and her mother were the only ones in the house. Investigators say Brown continued to give them conflicting stories before they arrested and charged her with first-degree attempted murder. In a statement, the acting police chief in Seat Pleasant says, "It is always tragic when we have acts of violence within our community, but it is heart-wrenching when the perpetrator is supposed to be."
Man, definitely crazy world that we live in, you guys, man. Yo, it's been a definitely great show, man. We about to wrap it up here on the 1130 podcast show. Once again, you guys, man, the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, you guys, man, weekly content. I've been doing the Raw watch-alongs and, of course, the SmackDown watch-along. We did a watch-along this past Saturday. It was Bad Blood. Man, it was awesome, man. Off the chain, Hell in a Cell match. Cody teaming with Roman, The Rock coming back, Jimmy coming back. It was amazing, man. Definitely amazing. So, new episodes weekly of the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, and watch-alongs for Raw and SmackDown, man. Definitely tune into Commission this week. We're going to be chatting about the prejudice in WWE, or lack of black talent being used. Also, Monday Night Raw this past week, they went back to 2 hours, man. First time in over, a decade, you guys, man. And some fans ain't really digging it, though. That is very interesting. So we're going to definitely be talking about that. We're going to be talking about more of the Bad Blood, man, reactions, man, posts, everything, man. So we're going to definitely dive into it, you guys. So definitely tune in and definitely tune in. Yo, until next time, you guys, I'm about to head on out of here. We're gonna see you next week on the 1130 podcast show. Shout out to Krista Ford for being a wonderful guest. Everyone, man, stay safe, stay blessed, man. Give all the glory to God. Be smooth, be easy. Yo, it's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, you guys, man. Yo, man, I'm out.